Guess I'm diving into Anthem content now. What is my life? So BioWare has finally dropped the much anticipated Cataclysm event for Anthem, which adds a few new activities along with some new loot to chase. There are also new cosmetics available through, at the moment, the new seasonal store, which are purchasable with the new seasonal in-game currency, crystals. Crystals are acquired by just playing the game. I think the general idea is to play the new game modes, but I found myself acquiring them while just doing quick play missions to boost my level up to 30. The main event of the Cataclysm update is the new game mode appropriately titled Cataclysm. In this new game mode, players complete a series of timed mini puzzles in an effort to destroy a crystal that is destabilizing the area. These puzzles range from sequence puzzles to gate puzzles to some kind of red light, green light type thing, and while not particularly difficult, do add some much needed variety to Anthem. This all culminates in a final boss fight with the antagonist of this event, Vara Brahm. After you defeat Vara Brahm, you are given a final score which has been accumulating throughout the mission, and you are given an amount of crystals corresponding to that score. There are also 3 to 4 story missions leading up to the Cataclysm, but no spoilers here, as I may decide to do some spoiler talk about the Cataclysm after its completion. Just know that you do have to complete a few missions before jumping into the main event. The new mode is played on a new map, which doesn't look particularly different from the rest of the game, minus the massive storm, but the map is rather large. I have only run the Cataclysm a few times thus far, and I will explain why shortly, but I found myself exploring a bit and seeing that there are a bunch of side things that you can do in this game mode. From what I've been seeing from other creators on here that have played on PC when the Cataclysm was in the test server, it seems you can increase your score quite dramatically if you really explore the map. With all that said, I'm not really here to go into the nitty-gritty of this update. You came to this video either because you're subscribed to me or because you want to know if Anthem is worth coming back to or possibly starting for the first time. With that in mind, I thought it was best to discuss the game from a broad perspective, which is meant for those of you who, like me for the longest time, walked away from the game and just want to know if it's worth it to come back, and if so, why? Well, here's why you should and why maybe you shouldn't. First and foremost, I will say that the Cataclysm itself is a fun event when looked at outside of this game's development troubles. As stated before, the puzzle mechanics take something that was already present in the base game, but turns up the difficulty slightly to make them feel a little bit more like Destiny. By no means are they as difficult as Destiny raids, but they still required me to actually use my brain for a few seconds and make teamwork feel like something that is actually needed by design. The event also introduces one very nice change to your loadout in the form of a switchable melee weapon. No longer are you forever tied to the element of your melee weapon like electricity in the Ranger's case. Now you can switch out the weapon and increase its effectiveness, as it is now tied to a gear level, and they come with their own masterworks and legendaries. Speaking of masterworks and legendaries, the drop rate for both of these, by all accounts, seem to be better. I am playing on GM1 right now, and from my perspective, get at least 2 to 3 masterworks with every Cataclysm run, with an occasional legendary drop here and there. Granted, I see some conflicting accounts on the subreddit, but given that said subreddit was one of the internet's most profitable salt mines 2 weeks ago, I have a hard time trusting information on there. The new cosmetics in the seasonal store are mostly pretty cool. I personally like this new green decal for my Ranger, and I'm at least curious to see what the Colossus's new armor looks like. Granted, by the time this video goes live, the store will either be switched out, or will maybe have a few hours left until the switch, so sorry I didn't put this out sooner. Also, like I said, no spoilers, but the story missions of the Cataclysm effectively build upon the foundation from the vanilla campaign, though that foundation was rocky to begin with. Hopefully BioWare can take this all in an interesting and engaging direction in the future. Finally, most, and I specify most, of the game-breaking bugs seem to be gone on the Xbox One version. I played a decent amount of free play and never ran into a hard crash. I was never disconnected from the servers. I only ran into 2 bugs of note. One minor, but one was also kind of bad. The minor bug was a menu glitch during the Cataclysm where the menus wouldn't completely close after trying to access the forge. Not a huge deal, and it only happened once. The bad bug was something I didn't manage to get footage of, but at one point the getting hit animation kept playing long after the enemy hit me. This would stun me in place for a minute, which left me wide open for attacks, which was definitely not good. Hopefully this was just a one-off thing, but I don't know at this point. So what would keep you away from Anthem as of today? Well, if you're not at max level already, then this will be a bit of a slog at first. I was around level 22 or 23 when the Cataclysm dropped, so while I was able to complete the story missions by setting the difficulty to hard, I ran into issues after. Trying to matchmake into the Cataclysm on hard was just not working. Not enough people are playing this game right now to support under GM1 for the Cataclysm. This problem isn't so apparent outside of the Cataclysm, but I sat and waited for quite some time before giving up. So instead I level grinded through quick play to get to level 30, which took some time as well. For this, we really needed the story missions to level us up to 30 and grant us a single piece of gear to get us to the minimum gear score. Destiny 2 did this for its Forsaken expansion, and it helped a lot for returning players. BioWare needs to think about stuff like this if they want players who left a long time ago to come back. Once you get into the Cataclysm, the game doesn't really explain much either. You get your first waypoint to the first puzzle, but others don't pop up until you've been traveling in that puzzle's direction for quite some time. Puzzles themselves also have the same issue, but lack of explanation here is kind of the point, so I won't dock BioWare on that, but the timer wasn't helping with the stress levels. Also, communication is a bit of a pain, as the second puzzle in particular requires things to be done in a certain order. If you're playing with randoms who are playing for the first time, this puzzle will take a while. Basically, if you know what you're doing, have your follow me command ready to spam to get people's attention. That, or get on your mic. Finally, I don't see much in the way of performance improvements on the console side. If I'm going to cover this game, I am going to beat this drum non-stop, because I don't want to buy this game again on PC. Anthem needs a performance mode if possible. Even having an option that scales everything back down to 1080p would be appreciated. Please, 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 BioWare, add a performance mode for this game. So I've explained what I like about the update and what still bothers me, but should you return to Anthem? Well, this is where most would leave it up to you as a viewer to decide, and that responsibility does ultimately rest with you. But here are my 2 cents just in case you care. If you made it to either levels in the late 20s or max level 30 before stopping, then I can recommend that you come back. The puzzles can be a bit frustrating on your own with randoms, so try to get one of your friends to come back too if that's possible, but it's still a fun experience. Anything below that, and I can't really recommend Anthem right now. If you're below level 25 or so, or you're starting brand new, you're going to be grinding a lot to get to the point where the Cataclysm is fun. Granted, if Warframe, Destiny, or Division aren't doing it for you and you really want to try Anthem, you won't despise it, but be prepared for the grind. Enough from me though. What do you all think? Is Anthem better now, or is it still bad? Let me know in the comments below, and please hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Hitting subscribe is also appreciated. That's all for now. Later.